What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. It's Jose Rodriguez, team leader of the REJ team, which is my real estate company, right? Shout out to them. And also shout out to the Built from Pain movement, which is a movement that I run about holding men accountable to the highest level. So, man, today we're going to speak about cutting off all the dead weight. And what that means to me, I don't really care if this video is going to go over 10 minutes. Usually I hit for it to go over 10 minutes, but it doesn't matter to me now, right? I'm going to talk about cutting off the dead weight and shit, man. Like, this topic in and of itself is something that a lot of people need to understand that they have to do. And it's the very thing that as you realize you're moving forward in life, you still feel like there's something still holding you back. You want to move forward into the next page of your book, but you still feel like there's some unresolved issue. There's something that's holding you back. Maybe it's unconscious. Maybe you don't even know that something is holding you back. You're looking to hit another level, yet there's something that is kind of just grounding you to that level that you've been at, right? It almost feels like a quicksand and it's eating away at your life, right? That's the dead weight that I talk about. So what do I mean by dead weight? Well, we all live our lives starting off as, kids, experiencing so many different things, childhood trauma, certain things that, that actually shaped us for how we live and who we are, our identity, the references that we have in life, right? Where we went, the experiences, like all of these things shape us to who we are today. Now, maybe we needed those things at that moment for a specific reason. However, have you ever looked at what kind of attachment your energy may have to those past things that no longer serve you anymore? Have you ever taken a look at your life and actually asked yourself, me moving forward in my life, is there something that I'm still attaching to that no longer serves me, that is preventing me from utilizing my full consciousness or my full energy to be able to move to the next level? Have you ever asked yourself these questions, right? And the reason why I want to talk about this topic is because usually it's a lot of those things that you haven't resolved within yourself that is holding you back. It could be so many things. It could be a past relationship, right? It could be a business that failed and now forever you're scarred because that business failed and you don't want to move forward. It could be so many different things. However, it's that very thing that you haven't handled that's keeping you from being the best person that you could be. So what do you do when you have these things? This is what I do. I can only talk about life through my experiences, right? Not just some shit that I read from a book or whatever the case is, but what are my practices, right? Jose, you're talking about this. What do you do? The question would be this, right? Jose, you're talking about this. What do you do to release yourself from these chains? What do you do to release yourself from these energies that are attaching to you, or the energy that you're attaching to whatever it is? How do you release yourself from this thing? So the first thing that I notice is that I actually view what it is that is holding me back, whatever that is. Shit, I still have some energy attached to this. Then I ask myself, why do I have energy attached to this business, to this person, to this thing, whatever it could be? Why do I have so much energy attached to this thing? Right? Why? And before I keep going, why is all of this important? Because if you still have energy attached to certain things that are no longer in your life or no longer serve you, and you have energy attached to a specific future with those things that are not in your life anymore, and that correlation is now going to create your present. And now you're going to live a life that is going to feel very fucking weird because there's going to be this attachment to something that is not even a thing, that is not even real. So what does that lead to? Hopelessness. There's a lot of people that are fucking hopeless because they have this attachment to these things that no longer fucking serve them. It's a dead end. Yet you want to keep seeing the street. Motherfucker, it's a dead end. You're looking at a wall. It's done. That path was closed off. Now it's time for you to create, which is the next thing. Now that you've released your energies from these things, right? And it may not feel as freeing or as peaceful as you think, But as you keep going and as you ride towards this journey, you're going to start to feel more freeing because you're cutting these chains off of these things that are no longer a part of your life. But what do people try to do? People hold on to these things just in case. No, fuck that shit. It's time for you to live your life presently. So now that you're moving towards that self-mastery, towards the truth, right? You could call it. You have to be able to cut off these chains, cut off these negative communications, cut off these things that, were in the past, cut off these goals that you maybe had based on your perspective in the past that are no longer the things that you're going after today. You have to be able to clear your slate so that you can create the life that you actually want. Because we're all changing every single day. Every single day we're adapting to new things. Every single day as we climb the ladder, as we become more successful, right? We are now viewing the world differently. So we have to assess the world from our highest perspective. So our perspective may change. Have you actually sat down with yourself and said, okay, well, this is where I'm at now? Because where I'm at now, the things that I'm thinking about are way different than the things that I thought about, 6 months ago, even, right? 3 months ago, even fucking a month ago. Why? Because life is consistently changing. And what people don't do is they don't allow the adaptation that they have towards life to mold them into the person that they need to be to create the life that they need to create, which is the life of the highest self, right? Instead, they allow these things. They still have these energies plugged into these past environments, past relationships, trauma, certain things that, maybe, betrayal, all of these things that they have their energies tied into that are now creating a future for them of avoidance. Avoidance of what? Avoidance of maybe feeling the same pain that they felt when they were in that time. So now that they have these energies plugged into these things, they're avoiding, they're going towards this future, right? That is a future of avoidance, not a future that they actually want to live. It's a future of trying to create this safety bubble that is never going to bring fulfillment. It's never going to bring it's never going to fill that void. It's just, if anything, it's going to create the void even bigger. So instead of going to that path, notice that you don't have to have your energies plugged into these things. Assess and become aware of where it is that you have your energies plugged into, and then understand that you've learned what you've learned from that experience. Now take the exchange, which is the knowledge, the information, the data. Take the exchange, learn from the exchange, and now use it for your present self to create the future that you want. Not to avoid a certain future, but to create the best future, right? So if it was a failed business, right, and you're saying, I don't want to ever do a business again. No, it's not I don't want to ever do a business again. It's I don't want to ever do a business again like that. Take that and utilize it to create an even better business. Same thing with a relationship. I don't ever want to get into a relationship because of that. No, it's not I don't ever want to get into a relationship. It's I don't ever want to get into a relationship ever again like that. But now I can take the exchange that I've learned and I can utilize it to create an even better fucking relationship, right? It works universal with anything and everything you think about. So now, back to the example that I was giving you. Place yourself in the position where you sit down with yourself and you ask yourself, what communications do I have to clear up? What haven't I been expressing in my life? Where is my energy tied into that I'm not allowing myself to just move forward and release this thing? And that is the process. Now, one of the things that I do is I journal every single day. Every day I journal. Why? Because journaling for me, putting it to paper, whatever it is that I'm looking to express, it helps me express it to a whole nother level. I don't know what it is about putting it into paper. Maybe there's a fucking reason, right? I'm sure that if I look it up, I'll find out why, right? There's probably tons of reasons why it helps. But for me, journaling about it, writing it down, it's like materializing what it is that I'm looking to express. It was now here or in my body, and now I'm pushing it out into paper, right? And now it's maybe it's not completely gone, but it's more gone and it feels a lot better than it did before, right? And that's the process. Why do you want it to just be a lot better? And why do you want it just to be free of these things? Because we have to move forward with our lives. We have to continue this shit. We have to continue to flip these pages. We can't stay in a stagnant position. Things have to keep going. Things have to keep flowing. Now you have a decision to make. You have a responsibility to your life. Look at yourself from an outside standpoint, objectively. Look at yourself and ask yourself, how good are you doing to yourself? Ask yourself that question. How good are you doing to yourself? Are you doing a service to yourself, or are you doing a disservice to yourself? Are you benefiting your life, or are you fucking yourself up because of these things that you keep doing to yourself? Right? Now, the best thing to do is now understand where you're at and understand that you have to drive your attention towards where you want to go, not where you don't want to go. And when you start to drive your attention towards where you want to go, a lot of these things are now going to stop. You're now going to take these energies back. Give me that back. Give me that energy back. You're taking that energy back, and now you're plugging it in to the thing that you're creating. And now that thing in and of itself is going to be such a beautiful creation that is going to override whatever the fuck happened in the past. Now, something that I have to, disclaimer that I have to let you guys know about is that this creation that you're making now is going to destroy itself in the future. But that's the beauty of life. It's the constant dance of life. It's the yin and the yang. So this very thing that is beautiful that you created, it could have been the last, for example, that last business that you created could have been something beautiful. That last relationship that you were in could have been something beautiful. However, it destroyed itself in the way that it did so that you can create something greater. But you have to go through this fucking step of taking that shit back and plugging it into your present so that you can create this thing, whatever that would be, right? So I'm going to cut it off here, guys, okay? Understand that this is something that's very real. This is something that is very useful, so utilize it, right? Utilize this information. Don't just take it and just say, oh, that was cool. No, use this shit. Implement it into your life, all right? Click the thumbs up button. Give a comment down below. That always helps, right? And share it with a friend, anybody that you think that may benefit from something like this. I probably think everybody would benefit from something like this. Check out the Built from Pain movement. It's down below in the description. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.